What's up, Ben?
Hey, I guess
Ben,
the
you
big
look comfortable.
I am. I'm leaning up against a pillow here. I guess the big question is where does the non-con schedule stand specifically with that opening multi-team event?
Nothing's official until stuff is signed. So we're hoping to, well, I was hoping to have it by today, but we just got done practicing. So I'll get on the phone and see where it's at as far as trying to get things signed for our opening 2 games in a multi-team event. As you guys know, it's trying to make it work with San Diego State and a few other teams. So, but until, we can't announce anything official until everything's signed. And, there's just so much going on with, we got to make sure that we're all got our testing protocols and all that type of stuff as far as all that goes. So, and how everything's going to work. And what TV wants as far as who plays who, obviously trying to get the most TV exposure. And my choice would be to get the 2 toughest games we can get. That's my mindset is, our guys want to play the best teams we can play. So that's what we're trying to do. So hopefully I'll have something official for you this week. That would be awesome.
Beth, go ahead.
Hey, Mick. Along those same lines, everybody's in scramble mode right now with their schedules. Are you looking to, do you still have other holes you're looking to plug? I know some teams, their home opener opponent dropped out on them. And I mean, it's just kind of a crazy time for everybody. But what about your other holes?
No, we don't. We really don't have any other holes to plug. It's just a matter of contract stuff. You're waiting on that, but we're really just trying to wrap up our multi-team event so we can release our entire non-conference schedule to you guys. But that being said, I anticipate holes, unfortunately, meaning replacement games, what have you. If teams get shut down, obviously if we get shut down, our opponents are going to need replacement games. If our opponents get shut down, we could need replacement games. So, that's a whole nother thing, but you really can't prepare for that until it happens, because what you're going to have though is everybody's schedule, at least for us, in the West, on the West Coast, probably need, once everybody's done, have their schedule and be really in tune, because you may need replacement games. So you may have to call somebody and say, hey, you want to play? We lost a game. You lost a game. Try to figure it out so you can get games in. That's pretty much going to be a reality, I think, at some point.
Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon.
Hey, Mike.
We've seen, in the NBA, NFL, college football, it's been a very interesting summer. But in the social injustice aspect, we've seen slogans, banners, moments of unity. Has there been any discussion with you guys about doing anything with that? And what is the collective perspective from the team with these issues right now?
Well, we just talked about voting. So obviously, in college basketball, everybody's off tomorrow. So this is my, thing for everybody to get out there and vote if you haven't already. Most of our guys have, and I have, and just trying to make sure everybody knows where they need to go that on our team that hasn't. As far as the messaging, UCLA's on top of that. Jarman's done a good job within our entire staff here, as well as the Pac-12. So there's things going on within the Pac-12 with messaging. And there's also things going on at UCLA, whether it's pregame, shirts, patches, all the above. All the above options are out there. As a team, what we have to decide, there's some things that we have to make a decision within the options that are out there for us. So that's going to be presented to the players probably in the next couple of weeks, and for them to decide what we want to, which direction they want to go with it. whatever messages they wanted to portray, whether it's, again, patches, shooting shirts, pregame things. I know the Pac-12 has definitely worked on things as well as just, our university. So it's obviously something that, we're all extremely aware of.
Dennis, go ahead.
It'll be a player decision. It's things we want to present them with options. So you don't want to put pressure on them, but so you want to try to give them options. They got enough pressure on them right now dealing with what's going on and trying to play basketball at the same time. So just trying to make it easy on them and present options that so they can be involved at the level that they want to be involved individually and as a team.
Good afternoon, Coach. How are you today?
Hey, Dennis.
Hey, I have a two-part question for you. So the first question is, are there any particular student athletes that you're expecting to really flourish this season? And the second question is, can you explain or try to explain the level of activism or energy that young people across the country, particularly student athletes, have rallied around this year?
Well, I'll give you the first part, the basketball one. Chris Smith would be our probably most obvious guy as far as somebody I expect to have a monster season. First team All Pac-12, and he's returning. So there's a few of those, though, in the Pac-12 this year. I know Chris and Remy Martin off top of my head. So it's going to be imperative for us that, that Chris competes for Pac-12 Player of the Year and All-American status. And he's consistent every night. He's a great guy. We're very fortunate that he's back with us for his senior year. And two reasons. One, he's a great guy, so I enjoy being around him. We're a better team with him on it. I don't care what freshmen you bring in, how talented they are. It's different having an elite senior on your team gives you a real chance. I would say this, Dennis, I know there's on the social activism, a lot of young people. Obviously I live in LA, so when I'm in my car, I see, most of the people that I see are younger, that are outside with the messaging, but it's been hard really on the college athletes because they weren't on campus. There's so much on their plate as far as what was going to happen to their season. And now we're asking them to, like our kids, they come in the morning, they got to be here by 8, get tested. They have some sort of light breakfast, then they stretch, lift, practice, then they got class. And then we're asking them to go directly home, because of the trying to quarantine themselves from others. So we don't have the virus creep into our bubble in UCLA basketball. So, and that's all of our teams that are here on campus. So it's been harder, I would say, for young student athletes than it's been for young people. But I think, it's inspiring to me. I think it's great. My daughter's 14. She's into it. She's very, very aware of what's going on in our country right now. So I think it's great when you see young people taking an interest in what's going on in our country, especially when it pertains to the well-being of other people. I think that's a great thing. It just makes the world a better place.
Ben, go ahead.
I think we're talking to David and Jaime after you. You talked about David's getting in great shape. How is that going to help him? You mentioned that he'll get some backup point guard minutes. And it will also help his shooting, do you think, being in better shape? And then also, what changes have you seen in Jaime since he got back from last season?
Well, I think I'll go Jaime first. Jaime's back in Jaime's shape where he's out. He out hustles a lot of people. His Jaime's secret weapon is his toughness, where he just keeps coming at you. He's like a guy, 15-round boxer that just gets better as the rounds go on, where others tend to fall apart. And that was the toughness level that he gave us last year. And he really helped bring his teammates up to his level of competitive toughness to where we could become a pretty good team. And he's back. He's back to that guy. I'm really working with Jaime on his decision-making on offense. He's such a tough guy going to the rim. just trying to get him to be a better reader of defenses, a little bit better shooter, a little bit better passer. And then as far as David, he's been rock solid. His leadership's awesome. We've looked at some film with David on his shooting from last year, and not just David, but Jake and Johnny. I think, sometimes shooters tend to fall into that they just got to get threes off. And what happens is you end up rushing your routine, and you can't do that, or it's going to kill your percentage. I think David's message, trying to show him some clips and talk to him about when people are running at him, not to rush his shot to get it off, to just show the ball, go by the man, make the pull up, or make the next pass, is going to lift his 3-point percentage. Instead of feeling like he has to make threes to stay in the game. I want him to be more of a player. And that's said for Jake as well as Johnny Juzang.
You have any more questions?
Is that your hand up, Mike? Shane has got to get you. There you are.
Okay, there we go. Obviously, a year ago, new team, new squad, new scheme for them. How much easier is it a year later to implement what you're trying to do? And now that they know exactly what you expect of them on offense and defense, are you starting to implement more, put more into your scheme, or are you just trying to solidify what you already have?
Well, we definitely need to become a better offensive team. As much as we got better defensively, and I think our shot selection improved. We took care of the ball better down the stretch, but our shooting percentage, our execution definitely needed to improve. So we've spent a lot of time on that, trying to get everybody on the same page. And then the COVID angle of everything was earlier than normal, trying to get your entire offensive package in the terrible event that you would get shut down for 2 weeks. Because if you get shut down for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden you come back and you got a game and you haven't really put your offense all the way in, you can see the dilemma with that. So we pretty much got that about 80-90% done, to where now we're able to, we got to get back to our mindset of why we won last year. Is, that toughness, defense, and playing smart are the three most important things when it comes to winning. Everybody plays hard. You got to play smart. You can't just play hard. You got to beat a really good team with talent. Playing hard is not enough. You got to play smart as well, and you got to play together, obviously. So, it's just been you're trying to get a lot done, but it does help, to your point, Mike, of having guys returning, so they do understand what we're talking about, and we don't have the plethora of mistakes at this time that we did last year. With that being said, I'm a big believer, as you guys know, people that follow me, that toughness is imperative. I don't think you can't win in any sport without mental and physical toughness. So fortunately, knock on wood, we can keep practicing and keep building up to where we have enough game ready to compete and beat a well-coached, good team that has toughness as well. Because there's effort and there's winning effort, and we learned the difference last year. And I think if we can make sure that we still have that, our experience will then help us. But if we lose our edge that we learned that we had to have last year, the toughness edge, our experience won't matter.
Ben, go ahead.
Sort of along those lines, one thing that it seemed that you made a lot of improvements on last year was getting over the last play, particularly when it didn't go well. How much going into this year now, the guys don't even have, that's not even an issue anymore. Do you think that's the case, and these guys have the toughness and the mindset to pass things when they don't go well, and that's not something you're spending time on?
Well, it's a great point. I think you always got to spend time on it as a coach, not as much. You know, we really had to spend half a season getting there, to be honest with you, last year of we worried about things that didn't matter. And until, like I said to guys, you know, until, you know, you can clean out the closet of all the clutter and just worry about what we have to do to win a game. That's how hard it is to just win one game. And you had too many things hanging in the closet. Why'd he take me out? Why didn't he pass me the ball? Instead of just focusing on what we need to do to get this win. That was the biggest change that we made. Everybody else, what was the difference? Once we were able to just worry about staying focused, we had a lot of comeback wins, right? In the last 2 months of the year. So we still deal with it because, you know, we compete. I'm a big believer in competitive practice. You tend to maybe cry about a call or two, which is good because it means they care. But you got to worry about, we try to teach them, you know, you got to worry about things you can control and worry about the next play. Not pout because Coach Lewis didn't call a foul for you when you drove to the basket. Just worry about getting back on defense because those things all happen within a game. I'm a big believer in that. You know, you obviously you heard me talk about it a lot last year. That's why you brought it up. We don't have near as much of that going on. I guess you're always going to have some of that when you're competing in practice, but so it's actually a good thing when it came up today to talk to them, guys, we can't worry about that. We're worried about a call, why you didn't get a call instead of getting back on defense. So, you know, I think we're going to start the game. You know, we could start the season off playing on the road at San Diego State, who was 30-2 last year. So if that's the case, we better be ready.
Okay, 2 more questions here. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, we've heard a lot about the, you know, the backcourt guys. How are the frontcourt guys doing? You know, Cody Riley became kind of a bruiser, sort of a bruiser last year. Jalen Hill became more consistent. Free throws between both of them were, you know, the percentages shot up towards the end of the season. How are they looking heading into the season?
Both those guys are huge for our team. I think it's a good point, Mike. They both improved exponentially throughout the season, right? They both struggled with turnovers early. They had to learn how to play without fouling because their freshman year, they were bench guys. If they fouled, it didn't matter. Being a counted upon player, you have to learn how to play without fatigue and play without letting yourself get mentally or physically fatigued and play without fouling. They both got there last year. It took them half a year, but when they got there, again, our improvement was a big part of their individual improvement. They're both great guys. You know, it took Cody a couple of weeks to get back in shape. You know, he's built so physically strong. It's unbelievable. He's a guy that needs practice every day for his conditioning. Jalen has been dealing with a little bit of a knee issue, but he's back. It was full go today. So just, I think it's a good point because those guys are huge for our team. You know, Jalen's defense, his shot blocking, his offensive rebounding in particular. And, you know, there's a few games down the stretch where Cody's offense saved us. You know, at Colorado, we started playing through him. We couldn't score, changed the world for us. Washington State, he dominated the end of that game. He's a guy that if you don't double team him, he can be a big problem, especially when we play 4 shooters around him. So I think Johnny's presence too is really going to help those guys. It'll open the floor up for them.
Okay, thank you, Coach. That'll be it for today. Thanks for your time.
All right, guys. Good seeing everybody.